Hi, Matt Morris. Welcome to the Unemployed Millionaire Show. Today, quick lesson on how to solve problems, how to overcome problems. And it actually came from a really a lesson that I've taught a lot over the years, but just recently had the chance to apply it in my life. And it was definitely not the easiest to apply this, but it ended up working well. And so I was on my climb, my summit of Mount Kilimanjaro, which just finished a couple weeks ago. And the day before we summited it, ended up getting altitude sickness. If you watch my last video, you'll know why I got altitude sickness. But I got altitude sickness. Now, if you've ever had it, it is kind of like having the worst hangover you could ever imagine. You know, splitting headache. I mean, it's kind of like your brain is popping through your skull. You know, probably the worst headache I've ever had, worst that I can remember anyway. And super lethargic. You just don't feel like moving at all. You've got no appetite. You don't want to eat anything. In fact, you've got nauseous. You feel like you're going to vomit. In fact, a lot of people do vomit. In fact, I think we've had almost half of our team that we climbed with ended up vomiting at some point because of the altitude. And I was feeling really bad. And this was as we approached base camp. Now, base camp is at 15,000 feet. And we got in there in the evening. We were going to eat and then go climb. They're going to wake us up at 11:30 at night to summit a little after midnight. So, you know, summit in the dark. We did it on a full moon. Really cool experience. But here's what was going through my head is I'm so miserable and I've got altitude sickness at 15,000 feet. What's it going to be like tomorrow when I have to go to over 19,000 feet? And I had recorded a video in the beginning saying I'm 100% sure I'm going to make it to the top. And I got to be honest, the seeds of doubt were starting to creep in. And, you know, I had an opportunity to just, you know, think about, you know, the lessons that I've learned over the years. And one of the things I talk about in my book, The Unemployed Millionaire, is, you know, what to do when problems happen, when challenges, you know, come up in your life. What do? Well, you thank God for them. And, you know, what I believe, not to get overly spiritual, but, you know, I think the source of everything is God. And so if you need help, go to the source. And so what a lot of people do when problems happen, they play victim. And when you play victim, only bad things can happen. Nothing good can happen from you playing victim, from saying, oh, poor me, why did this happen to me? Nothing good can ever happen from that. It's impossible. So, you know, what I decided to do, even though I didn't really feel like doing it, is I had to say, you know what, this is happening for a reason. Thank you, God. Thank you for giving me this altitude sickness because I know you're teaching me a lesson. I know you're doing it for some reason. And so, you know, ended up, I didn't want to eat anything, but I forced myself to eat a little bit because I knew I would need some energy for the climb the next day. And I went to bed and just said some prayers going to bed, asked God to make me feel better the next day. I said, thank you for this experience. I'm so incredibly grateful for the altitude sickness that you're giving me right now. I know it's for, you know, for a purpose. And went to bed. I only got to sleep about an hour and a half. And, you know, what was interesting is I woke up feeling a lot better. Now, not 100%, but enough to, you know, go do the climb. And so bottom line is I took the mistake that I had made the day before in going too fast. And I decided even though I may feel like going fast, I was going to go very, very slow. And I'd just go slowly but surely, I would make it to the top. And so, you know, ended up obviously making it at the top. Was so worth it. And I got to tell you, the victory at the top would not have been as sweet, as significant if I didn't have the altitude sickness. And so that's the message for today. When you're going through problems, when you're having challenges, go to the source. Thank God for the challenge because chances are it's there for a reason and you'll be able to work yourself through it in a powerful way without having victim mentality. So appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully you got some value out of this. Make sure you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. Hop over to mattmorris.com, put your name and email address in so you make sure you get these video updates. Love to hear your comments below. Let me know, do you agree, do you disagree? I read every comment that comes through. Appreciate you tuning in. Go make your life an adventure.